Okay, Joe, congratulations for everything you've achieved, especially now, that Ring magazine. What does that mean to you?
It means a tremendous amount, at the end of the day, to me, is finally getting the recognition I deserve, being a world champion. 9 years champion is a fantastic achievement, I'm proud of, and, getting the ring belt was probably the most difficult belt to receive. There's only eight champions in the ring in the world that's got the ring belt at the moment. Even the great Roy Jones Jr. didn't get the ring belt, so I was really happy for it.
All right, let's go quickly to that Jeff fight. Did you feel disrespected that some people were actually thinking, he was going to beat you?
Yeah, well, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I was probably more felt disrespected that the British bookies had Lacey as the favourite, but all that did was give me more incentive to win. That made me train harder and made me want to prove people wrong and to show what I could do.
The British bookies are, looking at their BBC award, looking at all these kind of awards domestically again, and some of us actually thought definitely with what you've achieved, it has to be you, but it's looking like it's not.
Yeah, well, listen, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not really bothered about awards and things like that. BBC Sports Personality of the Year award, for instance, it's been won by a lot of losers in the past. Greg Ruzeski, the tennis player, he's not even English. So, listen, I'm not bothered. The ring belt, winning the ring belt means 10 times more than win any other award. So I'm not too bothered. All that matters to me is to defend my title and be successful.
On Wednesday, you were honored on 9 years. It looks like yesterday, doesn't it?
Yeah, to be honest, it's gone so quick. It's frightening. I can't believe, how quick it's gone. But I'm so thankful. Thank God for my reign as a champion, and I still want to still strive to perform. And I'm hoping to get to a decade. You have to set yourself new goals, and 10 years looks like a good number. So I'm determined to get to 10 years undefeated.
Of course, there are a lot of landmarks we are looking at. 25 defenses, Joe Louis, the great Joe Louis. You might meet that, maybe?
Possibly. At the end of the day, listen, I'd be happy just to get to 25, match him and retire. Maybe I won't want to beat Joe Louis's record, a great fighter like himself. But even to get close, I'm proud of, to still puts me in a very small selection of fighters that has defended this title for so many times, and I'm just proud of that. But like I said, I'm still a hungry fighter. I'm still determined. I'm just still as anxious to win as I've always been.
Rocky Marciano never got beaten when he left, but you stayed longer. Can you do that till you say no longer? Can you go out without being defeated?
It's possible. I think it's a realistic possibility. At the end of the day, it's a few factors. If I stay injury-free, if I perform at my best, if I get out the boxing at the right time, that's always the case. Fighters always seem to stay around a bit too long. But I want to be one of them few fighters that gets out at the top, and that seems, maybe another 4 or 5 fights. Yeah, but another 4 fights after this will be enough.
The fight that made people, started taking notice of how good you really are was the Chris Eubank fight. Going into that fight, what was on your mind?
Well, obviously fighting a legend like Chris Eubank, there's a lot of pressure on me. It was my first world title fight, and everything I've ever worked for, everything I ever worked for was on that one night, and I felt a lot of pressure, and he gave me a tremendously hard fight, and it was a great night.
All right, as we about round up now, one of the biggest problems sporting stars like you face is social life problem, parties, this and that. How come you've so far avoided that?
Well, the thing is, I got married at a young age, and that put me on the straight and narrow. I've got 2 beautiful kids, and at the end of the day, I've sort of matured from a young age, and that's my life really. When I'm not training, I spend a lot of time with my kids. I've got a girlfriend, so I like to shun that sort of side of it. Obviously, like everybody else, we all like a night out. We all like to relax and chill out and have a few beers sometimes, but I keep it to a minimal. And I realised 10 weeks before a fight, I don't do any of that. I stay at home, maybe go to the cinema. And, that side doesn't really bother me. I'm pretty quiet, pretty laid back, so fortunately for me, it's not a problem.
How did you cope? The divorce was really tough, but how did you cope with it, really?
Sorry?
Separation was tough, but how did you cope with it?
Well, basically, just one of the things in life, at the end of the day, it's like anything in life, it's a new chapter. The main thing was, to me, when my kids were okay, everything is sorted as far as that's gone now. That's like the past, that's history. And like I said, you know, it was difficult to train at the same time. You're going through courts and so on. But like I said, you know, that's history now, and I come through that, still champion and looking for the future.
People keep talking about, I mean, of course he's great and all, but he has to go to the US, blah, blah, blah. How do you feel about that?
I'm not that bothered, you know. I haven't have to go to the US. Why? You know, I've beaten their best fighters. Jeff Lacey was their best fighter. He came over and got smashed up for 12 rounds. So, you know, bring somebody else on. You know, at the end of the day, if they got another fighter, if the money's right, then of course I'll go to America. If the money's not right, then what's the point of me going to America? I don't feel I need to. You know, they no longer have the best fighters in the world. The best fighters over here.
All right, your dad is your coach. How awkward is that sometimes?
Yeah. Well, listen, we have a great chemistry. We have a good personality. We're both quite fiery characters. Sometimes we'll have a row, we'll scream at each other, but then it's all okay. Then we'll have a cup of tea, and then everything's forgotten. You know, we get on well. I've got utmost respect to the trainer, and he's a great dad and a great friend. So I feel proud that he can share in my glory and in my moments, because, you know, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have boxed in the first place. He taught me how to fight. You know, a lot of people said, you know, when I turned pro, maybe I should get a professional trainer. But listen, he's a great trainer in his own right, and we're a great team.
Finally, which of your fights took you to the brink? Tough. The fight in which you knew I was really in the fight.
The toughest fight by far is the Chris Eubank fight, because it was the first ever time I'd done 12 rounds. And before that fight, I was very nervous, I was very tense. You know, burned up a lot of nervous energy, and I knocked Chris Eubank down in the first 15, 16 seconds, and then I went the first round trying to smash him up, and it didn't happen. After 2 or 3 rounds, he started smiling at me, and I realised that I had to go the full distance, and I was so tired after 7, 8 rounds, but I just kept plugging away, and I was totally exhausted. It was great to win that fight, but I was so exhausted after that fight. You know, it took me days to get over it. I was aching, every single muscle in my body was aching, so still, you know, the Eubank fight was probably definitely the toughest fight in my life.
Of course, it's finally, but your dad, I interviewed him, he said you can never be outboxed. Meaning what?
Well, I think outbox, he thinks, well, he just thinks my boxing skills, basically. You know, if I get drawn into a fight, anybody's got a puncher's chance. But I think he said, if I stand off and box, you know, I don't think there's anybody in my weight that can beat me.
All right. Yeah. Congratulations. And who is your biggest ever boxing idol?
That's tough, you know. I got a couple of the boxing idols. Probably, I love Sugar Ray Leonard. My earliest memories is Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler as well. Southpaw, strong, both different styles, but probably Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard are my favourite fighters.
Nobody in the heavyweight?
In the heavyweight division, obviously, let me think. I love Vander Holyfield. Holyfield, not now because it's a bit sad now that he's still boxing, but Holyfield, you know, in the early 90s, were a fantastic fighter, and I love watching Holyfield fight.
And the heavyweight division is not really anything to write home about anymore now.
Nah, it's poor. To be honest, I wish I was 2 or 3 stone heavier so I can go up and kick all their asses, man, and make shed more money, so that'd be all right.
All right. Thanks so much. Congrats.
Okay, well, thanks a lot. Cheers, man.
How much harder is it for you mentally getting up for this fight after the euphoria of Jeff Lacey?
Yeah, well, listen, the thing is...
Can you give us a bit of more detail?
Tough, I think, there every day. Wait there, Joe. Okay, lift those belts high, Joe.
Was it last ones? Well done.
Cheers. Big smiles there, lads. Down here, chap. And in down here.